It's just something that I like doing before something big. No, I don't need bait on the end of the line. I have no intent of catching anything. I just need the comfort of fishing. You have made the arrangements, haven't you? Yeah, upside down. I am not worthy to be crucified like my Lord. Thank you for the poll. It's nothing like the good ones from Galilee. Oh, those are the best. This will just do just fine. Thank you. Oh, don't worry, little Ichthus. Marcus is one of us now. He's been my guard for at least 3 months, and we baptized him and his family last week in my cell. Yeah, he's one of the good ones. I understand now what you meant. You know, when you were by the lakeside fixing fish for us after you were raised from the dead. Yeah, you asked me if I was going to love you more than these, my brothers. Of course I said yes, but I really had no idea what you had in store for us. You asked me 3 times, do you love me more than these? And I said, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And then you said, feed my sheep. Well, Lord, the rest of my life I've tried to feed your sheep. And I pray, oh God, that I've done what you've asked me to do. You know, Marcus, the secret to fishing is feeling it in your hand. Feeling it. Not seeing it. You can't see the fish. You got to feel it. Well, little Ichthus, I still cannot believe that you chose me. You came by my boat that day when Andrew and I were fixing our nets, and John and James were on the next boat fixing theirs. And you came by and said, Simon, son of John, come and I'll turn you from a fisherman into a fisher of men. I really had no idea what I was getting into. But you did it. You did it. I never really quite understood until later why you called me Peter. Oh, I know, you said, upon this rock I'll build my church, but I, again, still had no idea what all that would mean. After you called me, we went to my house. I was going to feed you a good dinner, and then I found out that my mother-in-law, the best cook in Capernaum, well, she was quite ill. And you healed her. You healed her and so many others. Well, from then on, well, gosh, it was just a whirlwind of things. I remember so many things connected with the sea and with fishing. And Marcus, did you know that these hands helped to feed 5,000 people? Did. And I've fed many more since then. On that day, we had gotten into the boat and went to the far side of the Sea of Galilee, and there a crowd had gathered. And Jesus taught and healed all day long. All day long. And when sundown was coming, Philip went over to Jesus and asked him, Jesus, we need to send these people home. They have to get something to eat. And Jesus just said, you feed them. Well, we didn't have anything to feed them. Jesus said, well, go find out how much you have. We had 5 loaves of bread. 2 fish. 2 stinking little dried fish. Oh. He took it, blessed it, broke the bread, broke the fish, handed all 12 of us some of it, and every time I gave some away and looked back in my hand, there was more to give. 5,000 people. Well, that evening, Jesus wanted to be alone, and so he sent us back in the boat to go back across the lake. Boy, that was a big mistake. Oh, not on Jesus' part, on mine. I had no idea what I was in store for. Of course, I took charge. Got out there in the middle of the lake, and the storm started. The lightning was flashing. The waves were crashing. The wind was blowing. And we fought that storm all night long. I had James and John and Andrew and Simon, the other Simon. They were manning the oars and pulling as hard as they could. I had the others, especially Matthew, trying to dredge the water out of the boat as it crashed in and throw it back overboard. Matthew got so sick. We had no idea what that city boy was like in a boat. Throwing up over the side. All night long. But then, in the morning, when the sun began to rise and the clouds began to break and the rays of the sun breaking over the Golan Heights, that's when John thought he saw a ghost. He screamed like a little girl. It's a ghost! It's a ghost! We all thought so. We were terrified. And as that ghost got closer, we saw that it was Jesus. Don't be afraid, he said. It is me. And I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Lord, if it's really you, bid me to come out upon the water. And he said the last thing I really wanted to hear, come. So I got up and I put one foot outside of the boat, and then I stepped over and put the other side out of the boat, and the boat began to drift away from me, and I was there. I was walking on the water. Hey guys, look, I'm walking on the water. But the wind was still blowing, the waves were still crashing, and the lightning. And I took my eyes off of Jesus. And that's when I knew why Jesus called me Rocky. Because as soon as I quit flailing my arms, I sunk like a rock. I could hear the others giggling behind me every time he called me Peter. Well, that's when I decided to start calling him Little Ichthus. So much bigger than he was. And so much smaller all at the same time. It wasn't too long after that he started talking about going to Jerusalem to die, and I wouldn't have any of it. I tried to tell him what to do. Lord, you're scaring the guys. Don't talk that way. he would just bark back at me. Peter, I know that you're the one who has said that I'm the Messiah, and you got it before everybody else, but you've got to trust me, he would say. You've got to trust me. I know what I'm doing. I guess he did. Because you see, we went to Jerusalem and he taught in the temple and he taught outside the temple. He showed us so many things. Oh, and when we got into Jerusalem, the very first thing that everybody did was form a parade, waving palms and shouting Hosanna, welcoming him in as a conquering hero. And we all thought that this is it. This is when the kingdom's going to happen. And we, my brothers and me, we're going to be the tops of the town. Did you know, Marcus, we used to argue over who was going to be vice Messiah? Oh, we had no idea. We had no idea that the right hand and left hand seats were reserved for two thieves on a cross. Well, on Thursday, he gathered us together, sent me into town with John to go find a place for us to have the Passover. Oh, the Passover? That's a big feast that us Jews have once a year. Meant a lot. Jesus changed it all. It's quite a celebration now to gather the believers together and share bread and wine and remember and feel what he means to us. Well, during that meal, he started talking again that his time had come near, and well, I tried to shut him down again, and I said, Lord, I will follow you to prison and even to death. And that's when he said it. Before the rooster crows in the morning, you will have denied me 3 times. Well, that's when he said, one of you even will betray me. And every one of us around that circle, around that table, said, Lord, surely it's not me. I couldn't believe it when Judas got up and walked out. Well, after the meal, we went to the garden to pray. I was still fuming over Jesus saying that I would deny him, but he left me and John and Andrew and James at the gate. He said, wait for me here and pray while I go in and pray. Well, it had been a big day. A big day. It had been a big week. We were all exhausted. And it was almost midnight. Of course we fell asleep, and yet he came back 2 more times to encourage us to pray. Well, that's when we saw Judas coming back, leading a crowd, some with torches and some with swords. And when they got there, that crazy old assassin Simon the Zealot, why, he cut off somebody's ear. He was quick with that knife. Yeah, Jesus healed him right there. 1 minute the ear was in Jesus' hand, the next year it was back on the guy's head. Right side up and everything. Well, that's when we all scattered. We scattered to the 4 winds, every one of us. But I couldn't leave Jesus alone. And so I followed. I followed them all the way to the high priest's house. That's where it happened. That's where I denied him. A little servant girl came into the courtyard where I was warming my hands by the fire. Said, I recognize you. And I said, girl, you have no idea what you're talking about. Another came up and said, well, I recognize that guy's accent. He's from Galilee. I said, I am not, and I don't know him. And another insisted that he knew who I was, and I denied ever knowing my little Ichthus. And the words were no more out of my mouth than I heard that rooster crowing. And I have not been able to hear a rooster crow since then without my heart breaking. And little Ichthus, I'm so sorry. So sorry that I ever denied you. I didn't see everything that they did to you, but I saw you on the cross. I was there. I saw you die. For 3 days, we mourned so hard. All of us together. My brothers. Oh, I miss them the most. But on that morning, I saw you alive. Had a foot race with John to get there, but it wasn't much of a foot race. I'm awfully slow. I run like I swim. But I saw the empty tomb. And we celebrated. And a few days later, that's when you said it, Lord. That's when you asked, do you love me more than these? Then feed my sheep. And I've done my best, Lord. I couldn't have done it without your presence there every step of the way, but I fed your sheep. Even Marcus here is one of your sheep now. And now I know why you said what you did, that when I got old, someone would take me by the belt and lead me where I don't want to go. It's over now. And I pray, little Ichthus, that I've done what you asked me to do. When I survey the wondrous cross on which my blessed Savior died, my richest gain I count but loss, and pour contempt on all my pride. Yeah, Marcus, I know. It's time to go.